I'm live, you guys. Hi. Again, I just love these sessions, although no one joins so far. I still haven't turned off the mail icon. I honestly love these sessions, even though I have a zero people in. But I just feel like I'm talking to myself and I'm kind of sifting through the ideas in my head, getting work done, and talking to you guys at the same time because I know that there are some people out there who will benefit from my thoughts, not because, oh, it frees up, gives you something to do when you're bored and you have nothing else to listen to, or just to rewind, but actually, I honestly feel like some of these ideas are critical to question for ourselves and as well as the world, because the way we're just moving, it's hectic, and obviously we're always working, go go go, but we have to sit down and think about these ideas because guys, we shape the world around us through our ideas and the actions we take based on those ideas and thoughts of and thinking. For example, terrorists, a worst example to use, they are indoctrinated into a certain form of thinking, so that's what inspires their actions, that's what causes them to kill people, right? And that's the extreme bad side of it. But we're looking at the other end where it's us. We think for ourselves. We have to indoctrinate ourselves according to our values, what we want in our world, and what kind of positive or at least united change we want, because I think that unity comes before positivity, because you can be united and it might not always be a pretty picture. Like, for example, prisons, or for God's sake, high school that I hated. You're united because you're on a common goal. You're trying to better yourself, you're getting education. But God knows, and you all know, that high school was all about cliques and the real world is just kind of a bigger version of it. So unity comes before positivity. I know I sound like a Debbie Downer, but I'm just keeping it real. I've always tried to keep it real, and I've always got in trouble for talking and running my mouth, but I don't really care at this point because I I know that my words resonate out there with someone, with other free spirits such as myself. So with that being said, I actually want to get on with the topic. Um so Are we heading into a matriarchy? Mm, there you can't really pinpoint when the balance can shift. I can't say yes or no for now. Maybe I will do a follow-up video where I talk about matriarchy more in detail and kind of give you guys a clue about what the matriarchy is formed by and whether it will be a sustainable leadership model in the business world, in politics, in government, business, media, technology, finance, law, and whether the matriarchy applies to every industry as well as the home, because there's the world out there that you conquer, you do your career, but then there's also the home front that also needs to be conquered. And right now there is just such an imbalance of power and shifting dynamics, but like in my opinion, there is no home. There's just the divorce rate in our country is really high. And maybe it will stabilize once the matriarchy sets in and there's a different form of leadership. But in my opinion, we're living in the now, and that needs to be improved as well in a conscious manner, in a critical manner. And the only way we can do anything about it is if we even know what kind of monster we're up against. We don't know what we're up against, right? So what can we do? So I just want to give you guys a definition of the matriarchies just so you have some idea. Because believe me, I've been thinking about this for years. I've been thinking about the matriarchy since I was in high school, because that's when the trend started shifting. They pushed girls into STEM fields, and they just wanted you to be so independent that no one can even cross you. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think we need more female leadership, and there's women that are just running circles around people and just achieving and working towards equality. Like, women are doing great things in this world, and it actually blows my mind. Like, but it's happening and it's great. But at the same time, like, this has been it's not like it's new. Like, yeah, and now thanks to social media, we see like feminism being touted, and we see like the accomplishments of women, but actually it's been years in the making. They've been pushing us for the curriculum has been pushing at the school pushing us the school boards have been pushing us. Like, it's been a while, okay? So the matriarchy is a system or society or a system of society or government ruled by women or a woman. So, for example, I've heard in Africa, certain tribes have matriarchy. I don't know if all of them do. Please correct me if they do. But certain tribes have matriarchy. So they actually have female leadership determine how the homes and the tribes would be set up and what actions to take. Um, I don't know the effectiveness of it because I've never lived in Africa, obviously. I wish I did. And I can't say whether it's effective because I've never been involved in that type of leadership form. However, for me personally, I think that the matriarchy is the matriarchy is trying to be implied through the school curriculums, through new workplace regulations, through like more expensive standards of living and rising inflation because they expect you to keep up. It almost feels like the world wants to go tilt in that direction where they want feminism to like rule out everything the traditional family and the nuclear family had. Um, Oh, and sorry, hold on. I just gotta put my laptop on charging. Why do they want to do that? Because we don't have enough innovation anymore. There's not enough businesses creating jobs, so they're pushing females to go and start their businesses so they can provide for the economy because they've fucked up the economy already so much. So again, like just like during World War II, when the men were fighting and we had to go to work, we have to clean up the mess of the other side and just the world in general, not just the other side. We once again, like, women are given made over responsible for the actions of other people, and it just boggles my mind. Um and not saying it's a bad thing, well, it is, but it just shows you like how much unequal power distribution there is in the world where the matriarchy is being touted and constantly hammered down our throats and hammered down as like a paradigm to engage in order to produce more, raise the standard of production and like get that GDP going. Oh my god, and it's my job to do so as a woman. No, thank you. I mean, yes, produce, get that job and get that career, but for yourself, not because you're part of some political, not because you're a political pawn. And that's just like me ranting every 5 seconds because this just makes me so mad when I think about it. But yeah, so the matriarchy is being pushed through curriculums because the world needs more production, they need more jobs, and the economy is suffering. So of course, like, the world is trying to head towards matriarchy, but at the same time, on the other end of the spectrum, like, divorce rates are going up like no tomorrow. Like, men and women are having an increasing divide in terms of expectations. Like, people are more accustomed to short-term dating and flings and hookups rather than long-term relationships because there's just so much instability because, like, all those power structures outside of the family are pushing down harder because now, like, women have this false expectation that, power is power, but it's almost like it's too addicting. And I would be the first to admit that because, like, you have all that power in the workplace, you think the same thing applies at home, but then you grew up in traditional families or dysfunctional families, so it's kind of hard to see what you want for yourself. And again, like, your life is yours, only you can decide what you want for yourself. No one can, like, force you to do anything you don't want to. But don't think that it's black and white, and don't think that you're not being programmed or conditioned through any media outlet, any educational curriculum to be any different. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons I think people say that we are heading into a matriarchy because they see like women achieving a lot, but really they have no choice almost because there's like it's been over the years that the school curriculums, their teachers and their parents have encouraged them to just like be super independent. And again, that comes at a cost as well. Not saying that that's a bad thing. I mean, some losses you have to take. You can't have everything, but that's just how it is. The second reason I think people question whether we're heading into a matriarchy and whether it's true is actually I kind of mentioned it, like changing relationship dynamics, men being more feminine and women being more masculine these days, and how like traditionalists are trying to kind of overcome that change in order to promote healthy relationships. But that's basically the second thing, changing relationship dynamics among, especially among millennials, not settling down, rising divorce rates, like all of it, not a single bit left. uh that's that's really all I have for now. But I did want to mention one thing. Basically, there's this book that came out. This was after basically the third feminist wave. It's called Gap Creek. I'm actually reading it right now. It was produced and published in 1999. At least that's the date I got. And then it was selected for Oprah's book club in 2000. And basically, Gap Creek itself mentions things about a marriage, like between a man and a woman. That's the story. It's a fictional place in North Carolina. Yeah, I just started reading it. So in the story, they talk about the troubles of marriage, which apply no matter what class you are, because marriage is marriage, and there's always going to be trouble relating to another human being, especially if you don't have, like, you have a lot of responsibilities, which is everybody. And it kind of made me think, like, even after the third feminist revolution, like, this book made Oprah's bookseller club, so people were anxious to know the answers to having like a good marriage. So obviously, the home front is still revered as something idealistic and something people want. Like people want that security, and men and women both really do want that um that gathering or that union. But it's just they've been so programmed to just fight against everything they really want deep down in their hearts, which is love and compassion and a solid union. And this book kind of discusses some of the themes of how much challenge a couple can go through and still come out strong at the end. So I don't think that the matriarchy is the barrier towards a healthy union between two people, two loving adults. But I think that it does play a role in shifting power dynamics, which leads to animosity between the two genders, as we have seen. And that's just one of the things I wanted to let you know. Maybe check out the book yourself, or maybe I'll do a review once I'm done reading it, so you have a bit more of a clue. I want to talk about matriarchy some more, but I will do it in a follow-up video because I am actually deeply interested in how it forms as a power structure of its own. And in the meantime, if you guys think that we are heading into the matriarchy, please comment below on why you think so. And I'd love to hear your responses. And I hope you have a great day.